Welcome to the Nutrition Diva podcast, a show where we take a closer look at nutrition trends and headlines, explain how the latest research applies to you, and answer your questions. I'm your host, Monica Reinagel. And lately, I have gotten a ton of questions on a compound called berberine. Is it safe and or beneficial? But before I get to that, a question from Anne-Marie, who wrote, I have heard that chewing our food is better than drinking it. Is this true? And to what degree? I'm a person who loves smoothies for breakfast. So should I make my smoothies thicker and eat them with a spoon instead? Obviously, there are some situations, such as following dental surgery or some other circumstance that makes chewing difficult, where liquid nutrition is actually going to be better. But I'm guessing that Anne-Marie is referring to the effect that chewing has on satiety. There's quite a bit of research to show that the texture of food has a big effect on how full we feel after eating it, or even how much of it we end up eating. And that effect is independent of other factors, such as how many calories it contains, or even how much protein or fat or fiber it contains. In general, foods that require more chewing lead to lower intake and greater satiety. And thicker liquids tend to be more filling than thinner ones. So eating a bowl of yogurt with some fruit and maybe some grains or chia seeds or whatever would theoretically keep you full longer than putting those exact same foods into the blender and making them into a smoothie. There's even research to show that adding a 0-calorie thickening agent to a liquid makes it more filling. So Anne-Marie may be onto something in terms of making her smoothies thicker. But in the spirit of, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, it may be that satiety is not a problem. So if your smoothie is getting you as far through the day as you need it to, and you enjoy that convenience or just the experience of consuming your breakfast that way, there's no compelling nutritional reason to change what you're doing. For that matter, if you're actually trying to consume more calories without getting overly full, you could even take advantage of that effect. On the other hand, if you find yourself hungry soon after drinking a smoothie that contains an entire meal's worth of nutrition, well, in that case, you could experiment with a breakfast that's nutritionally equivalent, but requires some chewing. Research studies, like the ones on texture and satiety, can certainly be informative. But remember that research suggests what's most likely to happen for most people. Your mileage may vary. So don't be afraid to find out what works for you based on your needs and preferences. And now let's talk about berberine, a natural compound that has been gaining a lot of attention lately. This molecule is found in a variety of different plants that are used in herbal medicine, including golden seal, Oregon grape, which, despite the name, is unrelated to the grapes that we eat or make into wine, and an herb known as Chinese gold thread. And there are a lot of different health benefits that are popularly attributed to berberine, including cardiovascular, neuroprotective, and immune-boosting properties. And most of those claims have only limited or preliminary evidence to support them. But the thing that's getting most of the attention right now is berberine's potential to modulate blood sugar, lowering fasting blood glucose levels as well as blood sugar spikes following meals. Obviously, this is of interest to people who may have been diagnosed with high blood sugar or prediabetes. It's even sometimes positioned as a natural alternative to prescription diabetes medications, such as metformin. Even those who have normal blood sugar responses might wonder whether a supplement like this could be helpful. Maybe it would reduce the risk of future problems. With all we hear these days about the dangers of high blood sugar and the risk of developing type 2 diabetes, that might make sense. But you need to know that there is no research to suggest that we're going to get any benefit or risk reduction from lowering what are normal or healthy blood sugar levels. In fact, excessively low blood sugar levels, known as hypoglycemia, can be problematic. What research we have on berberine is primarily in the context of managing elevated blood sugar levels. And the results have been promising. A 2022 systemic review and meta-analysis of randomized controlled trials on berberine found that it was comparable to the diabetes medication metformin in reducing fasting glucose and hemoglobin A1C levels in people with type 2 diabetes. HbA1c is a key marker for long-term blood sugar control. Berberine has a very long history of use in traditional Chinese medicine, and researchers in China have been at the forefront of studying its potential benefits for diabetes management. As a result, most of the research on berberine has been conducted in Chinese populations, and we need to be cautious about generalizing those findings to other populations. It's that old story, more research is needed. In terms of safety, berberine generally appears to be pretty safe when used appropriately, although some individuals may experience gastrointestinal side effects like diarrhea or constipation. But in my opinion, you really need to be working with a health professional to know what an appropriate dose would be for your situation. Berberine also has the potential to interact with certain medications, particularly those that are metabolized by the liver. And it can amplify the effects of other anti-diabetic medications. So, if you are taking statins for cholesterol, blood thinners, or any diabetes medications, it's really important to discuss the use of berberine with your healthcare professional. Also, because dietary supplements are more loosely regulated and controlled than prescription medications, you need to be aware of the quality of the product you choose. Look for berberine supplements that have been independently tested for purity and potency. Select a reputable brand that follows good manufacturing practices. While berberine shows some promising results in research, it's never going to take the place of a healthy lifestyle, including a balanced diet and regular exercise. But more importantly, it should never be used in place of or in combination with other anti-diabetic medications except under the advice and the supervision of a qualified healthcare professional, because we really don't want to undercorrect or overcorrect blood sugar issues. This is Monica Reinagel, the Nutrition Diva. If you have a nutrition question you'd like me to answer, you can email me at nutrition@quickanddirtytips.com or leave me a message at 443-961-6206. If your question is more on the subject of habits and behavior change, please check out my other podcast. It's called The Change Academy, where we talk about how to convert those good intentions into sustainable, healthy habits. You'll find it wherever you're listening to this podcast right now. Nutrition Diva is a Quick and Dirty Tips podcast. Our team includes our director of podcasts, Adam Cecil, audio engineer, Nathan Sems, Davina Tomlin, who runs our marketing and publicity, Holly Hutchings, our digital operations specialist, and Morgan Christensen, our podcast operation and advertising specialist. That's it for me this week. Thanks so much for listening. I'll be back soon.